everyone, my name is Dante. Welcome to this video. Thanks for tuning in. We have some big astrological events coming up on tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday. On Tuesday, it is the new moon time. And then on Wednesday, we have Mercury going retrograde. With big astrological events happening back to back, it's like we're stepping through a new portal where different sorts of energies are going to be coming through and affecting us. And this is a great time to make a pivot point and a shift in your life. Before I go into this, thanks again for being here, and if you want to support this video with a like and maybe a share and subscribing if you haven't and turning on the notifications if you like, then you can get updated whenever I'm sharing new content. I am an astrologer, a channel, and an intuitive healer. I've been doing this work for 10 years, and it is my passion and my pleasure to be here with you. So, the moon, technically we can call this a dark moon, right? Because what is often called a new moon in common astrology now is when the moon is not visible and is totally blacked out. And the darkness has a significance too, because this is a time when there isn't as much light. And so our mind is not as clear, and we are resting and rejuvenating, and we are both shedding the old, and very importantly, we are preparing for the new. We're beginning a new cycle. And the darkness is a time when we reflect and understand, oh, okay, well, what is it that I'm beginning? And then as the coming days follow, when we see the crescent, the waxing crescent form, that is when the moon is new, because there's a moon again that we can see. And that is when the energy is really building. So this new moon is, or dark moon, is taking place in the sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is the one who is very much in pursuit of knowledge and higher philosophies. Sagittarius has a very strong sense of what is right and what is wrong, and lives for that. Sagittarius is connected with the planet Jupiter, who is about expanding our mind, doing the right thing, following the wisdom within us. So this is a very strong moon for things that we associate with expanding our knowledge and expanding our own spiritual path. And Sagittarius is often connected with adventure and the rugged qualities that come with adventure. This isn't really traditional, but the adventure connects with this knowledge, right? That Sagittarius is wanting to know and to expand their experience, and travel is a means of doing that. And so in Sagittarius season, it's useful to take a step outside of your own comfort zone to expand your sense of what is possible and what this world is really about. That's a very Sagittarian quality. And with Mars, with the moon, that creates a quality of tension. Mars and the moon together is a combination for ambition and for seeing projects through. It gives you a lot of energy, and it gives a lot of focus. So those are some of the positive qualities of that. Now, as per usual, there's some in conjunction here between the moon and Uranus. It seems like Uranus is affecting all of the lunations as of recently. I don't know why that quite is happening. It's not every single one, but it happens a lot. And Uranus is bringing some unexpected quality to the moon. When Uranus is making an aspect, especially an aspect that isn't so auspicious, like the in conjunction, it can be a moment when something unexpected happens that throws a wrench in our process and slows things down, brings in unexpected, uncertain, and spontaneous energies that allow for transformation to take place and innovation to take place. So Uranus brings us to think outside of the box, and that quality might be present now. There's a square to Neptune. Squares to Neptune can bring about illusion. Neptune is the planet of dreams, spirituality, and also illusion and deception. Positive qualities to Neptune bring a dreamlike quality, and squares bring a challenge so that we can see what is fantasy versus what is reality. And when we have the square, it can really bring in some misinformation, or it can bring in some illusion. So be careful and note that things might not be exactly what they seem around the time of this new moon tomorrow. And there's nonetheless oh no, never mind. So we see also that Venus is in the sign of Libra, and Venus is, oh wait, no, Venus is in the sign of Scorpio, sorry. Venus is in her detriment in Scorpio, or fall, yeah, detriment in Scorpio with the sign of the asteroid Pleiadian. And Pleiadian is about strategy and intellect, and also about war. And Venus is there too, so there's it's kind of like the aesthetic of war. Venus is about aesthetic, so painting war with this positive aesthetic. We're seeing some of that now. Whoops. And who else? So Mercury is going retrograde the day after. Mercury is in the sign of Capricorn. This is a more serious archetype connected with the hard work, striving towards getting to the top of the mountain, and it's also connected with the structures and hierarchies of society. And anyway, Mercury in the sign can bring a very focused and disciplined energy, and kind of brings the mind to focus on very practical things. Mercury is going to go back into Sagittarius, and that won't happen until around Christmas. And on the 23rd of December, that's when Mercury is in this cazimi, this conjunction with the Sun. That's a crucial point in the retrograde cycle where we can see some bigger things happening. And it's happening at that 0 degrees of Capricorn, so it's initiating some sort of experience in the sign of Capricorn to bring about some sort of change with power structures, as that's what Capricorn connects with. So why don't we move on over to the Vedic chart to take a look at how this plays out from another angle. And Vedic is again 24 degrees behind Western. It's not because of anything other than the fact that it's actually showing us what we really see in the sky, whereas Western is oriented towards a more mathematical and archetypal reading of the star chart. It's not to say one is wrong, one is better. They are different, and we're speaking in generalizations now because, of course, every time we open a personal star chart, we're going to be able to see how this is playing out in a person's life far more than what I can say about the general energies, though the general energies will point to what is universally affecting everyone. Anyway, so when we look at the Vedic chart, we see that the moon's in this sign of Scorpio. This is the fall of the moon. A fallen planet is where the planet is performing poorly and the planet is kind of obscured. The fallen planet has a quality like Saturn, who is the lord of suffering. So there's a suffering and almost incompetent quality when a planet goes into the sign of its fall. Every planet has a fall in one sign. Rahu and Ketu might have a fall in 2 signs, depending on who you ask. So the moon in its fall brings out some of the shadow sides of both the moon and the sign that it's in, Scorpio. The moon is ever changing. It's the fastest moving planet, and it changes as it moves. So Moon in Scorpio is even more changing. It's volatile, its emotions are volatile, it has little control over its emotions. Scorpio is a sign that's associated with a vindictive quality. It's tending toward revenge, secrecy, jealousy, and all sorts of extremes. Yet Scorpio is a sign that is about power and stands for justice and fairness. So some of these negative qualities are only the result of Scorpio wanting to stand for what is right. In the world today, we're seeing a lot that is wrong and that is unfair. So there might be some of this quality of resistance to this moon where we stand up for what is right. And the moon is still closely connected with Mars, and now it's in Mars' sign of Scorpio. So there's an intense Martian quality to this moon that's bringing about a sort of fierceness. This isn't a new moon to party and play frivolously. It's a time to be quite serious with your intentions, and to also have that energy of self-protection as there could be troubles. So the moon itself is sandwiched between benefic planets that's bringing a positive influence to an otherwise intense moon. Venus and Mercury are coming in to add an energy of softness and intelligence into the mix. So it isn't to say that it is the worst of worst moons, but we can't get around the fact that it's a new moon for one, Mars is there, and Saturn is aspecting the moon, and Rahu is aspecting the moon. That is 4 malefic planets aspecting the moon, causing a very tense energy to take place at the time of this moon. And it's in this sign called Jyeshta. This is the nakshatra. Jyeshta is connected with the god Indra. Indra is the sort of king archetype of the gods. Indra has some of these scorpionic qualities of avengefulness. Yet Indra is the god who brings rain and storms and rain have a rejuvenating quality, and this is pointing to the understanding that when the storm comes, it's rejuvenating the soil by bringing its rain and by bringing this new life. It's bringing this thunder and lightning that clears the air and makes the space for new things to grow. Storms can also be destructive, yet we need them to survive. So we have to take the destruction sometimes for the mere fact of the weather that keeps this planet together. Now, the mythology of Indra is that Krishna was speaking with the humans and was saying, you don't need to make your offerings to the gods anymore. You don't need to carry out these rituals anymore. I've got you. I'm Krishna. I'm here. And this very much angered Indra, who stopped receiving his offerings. So he started to rampage with a massive storm. And Krishna came and covered the community with an umbrella to protect. And Krishna eventually convinced Indra that he is the supreme being, and Indra apologized, and Krishna blessed him and forgave him for his apology and for stopping the destruction. So there's also a quality of forgiveness here, of when we recognize our wrongful actions and let go of that vengefulness, there is a true honor that happens. And Indra is known, therefore, for its strong sense of purpose, its dharma being purpose or leading the right path of life. So it's definitely a time to question, are we on our own righteous path? Are we really the ruler of our own dominion, of our own lives? As this is very much connected with the energy of this nakshatra Jyeshta. So the symbolism of Jyeshta is an umbrella, protection, and it's also an amulet, the magical protection. Wearing mine now. I thought I lost these amulets from Thailand, and I was like, well, maybe I don't need the amulets. Maybe I don't need to follow this old way of believing in these more superstitious charms and good and bad omens. And when I found it in my bag, I was like, oh, well, I didn't struggle without it, but I kind of like it, and maybe it's helping. So an amulet, it's a good time to honor your magical protection and maybe cleanse your amulets, charge your amulets, or do something special with them to bring in some magical energy into this moon. And when we think about Mercury retrograde in these signs, when Mercury is going back on Wednesday, Mercury will spend most of its time in that sign of Sagittarius. So lucky there. Mercury is in good relationship with the planet Jupiter when it's in Sagittarius. It's both in Sagittarius, the sign, and getting the aspect from Sagittarius. And this is really good for a mind, for a Mercury that communicates the deeper spiritual wisdom and shares that with the world. So much of that may be happening. Though we can't get away from the fact that on this moon we have Saturn bringing a depressing, brooding energy, Rahu bringing a confused and more fearful energy, and Mars bringing a protective and perhaps fierce, even angry energy. And the sun and all of these malefic planets at once can make for an emotional state that's rather turbulent. And we want to, again, protect ourselves at this time and use this new moon as a period of letting go. Perhaps it's time to let go of our own feelings of vengefulness, our own feelings of retribution, our own feelings of bitterness towards ourselves and other, and step into that energy of forgiveness, and not doing that prematurely. I'm not that naive to say that you should just forgive people. Forgiveness comes from doing the healing work. Forgiveness comes when there's no longer any trauma from what has been done wrong. And this is a world that traumatizes us very much. This is a world where there's many unfair battles that are being waged against innocent people. And so still using our voice to demand fairness from the rights of others is coinciding with our work around forgiveness, because until we heal ourselves, we are not we are not capable of forgiving. And if we rush to forgive before we're healed, we're actually opening ourselves to be vulnerable for more attack again. So yes, it is all love and light and beauty, and also there's an important need to acknowledge protecting your own energy, protecting your own peace, and being very much in alignment with what you want to see in the world. Thanks for watching this video. If you resonate with this, let me know. If you want to see how this applies to your own chart, then you can book a reading with me and we can see where do all of these planets influence the position of your planets and bring about change and challenge and transformation in your own life. You can book a reading with me. DanteStarshine.com is my website and all the information is there, or contact me if you have any questions about how that might work. And just to note, people who might be most affected by this are people who are going to have important planets in Scorpio. And that's the Vedic Scorpio, right? So sidereal Scorpio. And people who are going to be very influenced from this in the Western perspective are people who have the planets in the sign Sagittarius. And then we have to consider the cardinal aspects, the quadrant aspects from Sagittarius, which are the mutable signs of Pisces, Gemini, and Virgo, are also going to be influenced by this in the tropical system. And the tropical is what most people know. If you don't know the difference, you probably know your tropical signs. And then in sidereal, we would see that as Scorpio and the fixed quadrant axis of Scorpios, Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo. Okay, I hope you really enjoyed this, and I hope to hear from you soon. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. Share this video with the world if you feel so inclined. I appreciate it. Much love, many blessings, and hope you have the most fantabulous, amazing, spectacular day, and the astrological energies carry you in good spirits.